Hi everyone, it's Angela from the Tiny Healer channel where I talk about mental health, self-development and lifestyle. Today's video is about personal finance and emergency funds. So what is an emergency fund? An emergency fund is a sum of money set aside for emergencies, things like job loss or illness. So this sum of money generally covers all your expenses. Usually funds can range from 2 weeks worth to a year's worth of expenses. An emergency fund gives you peace of mind in case something were to happen to you, or let's say if a major repair is required for your house or your car. It's also handy in case you have unexpected medical costs, so dental work or medication that you didn't need before. It buffers for those kind of changes throughout life. So from aged 18 to 20, I was going out every weekend. I wasn't saving my money, I was just spending it. You can imagine doing that all the time. I was living paycheck to paycheck, and it was not always that fun when it came time to pay my bills. From age 21 to 24, I began saving here and there for travel, but I did still struggle with my pay because it was fluctuating. So I was a casual earning minimum wage. I also was working generally between 2 and 3 jobs at a time, just to pay for everything that needed to be paid for. Eventually it got to a point where I knew that something needed to change. I was sick of having that fear of never having enough money, or that I wouldn't be able to pay my bills. So it began with changing my mindset. I had to learn about my own money values, what I found important, and then changing those values if it didn't serve me. I also had to learn about my habits, so what I found really easy to spend money on, and then I had to change those habits. So the habits I built over time were saving consistently, even if my pay fluctuated, and I did this by setting aside a small amount of money each week, so I knew that no matter how much I got paid, I would be saving still. I also started budgeting where my money went, and at first I started with the biggest expenses, so rent, utilities and car payments, so registration and things like that, and that helped me set aside a little bit of money each week just so I knew that those will be covered. Once I got comfortable with that, I then started doing direct transfers into separate savings accounts. So it would be for, let's say, school fees, groceries, therapy, medication, expenses like that. So then I would know that all of those things would be covered no matter what. Once I started changing my habits, I learned that it wasn't just about how much money you make, but what you do with what you make. So for me, from about 22 onwards or so, I wanted to start saving for travel, and even if I wasn't making that much money, I was still able to put some money aside each week just to reach that goal. I also started getting clear on what I wanted and what was important to me. So knowing what I want made me more determined to create a plan to get there. So where I'm now and future planning, at the moment I have an emergency fund to cover about 6 months worth of expenses. So this means if I became ill or lost my job, I would still be able to pay all my expenses and my financial responsibilities like mortgage, car, groceries, everything. There was a good example actually a couple weeks ago. I came down with the flu. That meant I missed out on a week's worth of wages, and because I am casual, I don't get sick leave or anything like that. So having that money aside gave me a lot of peace of mind, and it meant that I could focus on resting and recovering rather than stressing about money and how I was going to pay my bills. So once my income increases, I do hope to start saving for travel next year. I do want to go probably to Thailand or something. I've never been there before, and I would love to start contributing to my super, which is the Aussie equivalent of retirement, like a Roth IRA or something like that. And I'd love to start investing into properties. Over the last probably 7 to 8 years, my mindset and things that I value have changed. I think with those changes, it means I can make more wise financial decisions rather than just spending everything I make every single week. So that has really decreased my stress levels. If you got to the end of this video, thank you so much for being here. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out to know what content you guys like. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Loss or illness. Or that's probably going to be really loud. So from aged 8 and having to pay my bills and blah blah blah. Okay, I'm going to cut that bit out.